this video, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the techniques for finding old home sites in a wide open field when you have absolutely no leads at all. Alright, it's Saturday again. It's supposed to start snowing in about an hour, so I figured we'd do another not digging video, but maybe talk about something that could benefit you as a digger. So, last week's video was so well received. I did a mapping video. I talked a little bit about how to use maps to locate old home sites in fields, and you guys seemed to really like it. We used websites and we used an app, and it was fantastic. So I want to elaborate on that just a little. So maybe you're using the apps and the websites and you were able to locate old home sites. That's fantastic. But maybe you weren't. And maybe you have a massive field permission and you couldn't find a home site in the field. That does not mean that there's not a home site there, okay? Some of the maps that we have only go back to the mid-1800s, if you're even lucky enough to have those maps. I mean, it's possible that there was a home site there even earlier than that was gone by the time the maps were even made. So in this video, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the techniques for finding old home sites in a wide open field when you have absolutely no leads at all. Not only that, I think I'm going to touch a little bit about the best places to metal detect a yard, which is kind of a little bit unrelated, but I know a lot of you are new to the hobby who are coming to my channel, and for me, it's like common sense when I walk into a yard, but I realize that people who are new to the hobby, it might take them a while to learn this, and so for me, it's like, here's my knowledge, I'm bestowing it upon you. And I've only been in the hobby a couple of years, so. Anyway, all right, let's talk a little bit about fields. Okay, so, like I said, you have a giant field permission. You haven't been able to find a home site on the maps, or maybe you haven't been able to get the maps to work. I don't know. But your best chance of finding a home site in this field, let's talk about that real quick. All right, so if Andrew and I have a field, and we don't have access to the maps, we just happen to have a field that we're about to metal detect. We have permission for the field. First of all, first and foremost, do not detect in a property unless you have permission, unless you've talked to the property owner. Getting permission from the farmer is one thing, but if the farmer just farms the land and they don't own the land, that doesn't count. Get permission from the owner of the land. It's so very important, guys. Like, seriously, just get permission. Anyway, that's my rant. But you have permission for a field, say, and you have no leads on home sites being in the field. So going into it, the places you want to hit right off the bat, I mean, don't just wander aimlessly through the field for 8 hours. That's gonna just... I've walked that way, and I've walked that way, and I've walked all around, and all I found is can slaw, a memorial penny, and a bunch of bullets. Be painful. Sure, you might find something. You might find one coin and that'll make your day, but your best chances of finding something or finding any sense of civilization is, okay, hit the high spots first. Look across the field, find the high spots, and you want to concentrate on the high spots. You know, if there's high spots in the field, you want to hit that. All right, you also want to hit the flat spots. You know, the flat spots where it would be ideal to build. You want to think like they would have thought. Okay, so for example, the last home site that Andrew and I found, you know, we wandered out into this field and the one area that was flat was swampy. They wouldn't have built their house there, you know, so we headed up on the high ground, and that's where we started pulling stuff out. It was the high ground, right above the swampy area. So you want to hit the high ground. But another thing you really want to look for in fields is just random trees. The tree!
I don't know, I just got a really good
feeling. Magical tree. Okay, because not only if there wasn't a home site there, you know, a farmer out tending his field all day is going to take a rest by that tree, you know, and he might drop something out of his pockets. Who knows? So that's another thing. You want to look for the flat spots. You want to look for the high spots. You want to look for random trees out in the middle of the field. You want to look for just the odd areas in the field. You don't just want to wander aimlessly for hours, because I can tell you that can be so discouraging. So going into fields without any knowing of there was a home site here, those are the areas you really want to hit. And you want to hit them well. Okay, I'm going to interject right there because I'm editing the video now and I realized that I forgot something that's kind of important and I didn't want to leave it out of the video. So, I'm back to say this. One important thing when you're looking for these old home sites is that they were usually built beside a water source. Kind of obvious, actually. In our case, they were usually built beside a stream or a river or something along those lines. In a lot of other places in the United States, they would dig wells, but not in our case. In our case, they were usually by streams. So that's another thing to keep in mind when you're looking for these old home sites is a lot of times they were built beside streams. So you want to look for the high spots, the flat spots, or the trees that are beside streams, and that might lead you to your home site. So I think that's about it. All right, back to editing and back to the video for you, okay? And then you want to listen. You want to be listening while you're walking through the field with your metal detector. I always have my iron audio on. I use a Garrett machine. I always have my iron audio on. And I'm constantly listening for concentrations of iron because that is another good indicator that there may have been a structure here. I'm hearing the nails. I'm hearing a home site. Let's slow down, let's hit this area, there may have been something here. So you're not only looking in the field, you're listening to your detector and you're hearing what it's telling you. You know, you get into a patch of relics, you're slowing down, you want to hit that area, okay? The same goes for the trash. You get into a patch of trash, slow down a little, especially if it's period trash. You want to hit that area really good. Another thing to look for is pottery and brick on the ground. So you're looking at the ground obviously because you're metal detecting and you know you're just staring at the ground. You're looking for pottery, you're looking for brick in the field. You want to be looking for these signs that point you to a home site because otherwise you're just, like I said, wandering aimlessly and it really does suck. I've done that. I've done that and it's like, oh my god, what am I doing with my life? It can be a really long day. And I used to hate fields. If you guys watch some of my earlier videos, I'd be like, I'm going out in this field and I hate fields. I hate them.
Alright. That's where I started. That's where I'm heading. And 2 cans and a bolt. I love fields. I have to try to say that like I believe it. I love fields.
And now, oh my gosh, I'm like looking at maps and I'm trying to find these old home sites and I'm like all about fields now because I love fields. So it's like that shift of your perspective on things once you know what to look for. Because once you know what to look for, it's like game on. So, I mean, these are the things that I look for and these are the things that you can look for when you're out in the field. So I think that's really, that kind of covers fields, but not only in the field itself, but on the edges of the field. You know, sometimes the farmer will own a little bit into the woods, and sometimes it's good to hit the outskirts. You know, for instance, one of my videos early last year, we were out with the wizard, Aqua Chigger, and we call him the wizard because he has this ability to just locate home sites like that. Like all this information I'm giving you, it's like loaded in his brain, and he like more than what I'm telling you. I don't know. He's just got it like programmed in there, and he walks into a field and he's like, it's right there, and he's gone, and he's on it like this, and he's like, he's the wizard. That man is a wizard. And so we were out in this field with him, and he just like, you look down and you take a hole and you look up and the wizard's gone, you know, and then like 2 seconds later it comes out of the woods. He's like, I got a home site. And you're like, what? He's like, I got one. It's in the woods. It's like, okay, Bo, I'll follow you into the woods. That's not creepy at all. So you follow him into the woods, and sure enough, he found a home site right in the woods on the edge of the field. It wasn't in the field, it was on the edge of the field, but the farmer still owned it. So we headed off into the woods. I got my Nova Constellatio. That was an epic day. We pulled so many buttons and coppers. I always wanted one of those. Out of this home site that was on the edge of the field, but you know what? It was on the high ground. It was the same rules I told you. I mean, we're looking at trees. We're looking at, you know, cedar trees, big, massive trees, old trees. You just got to be able to read that landscape and know what it's telling you. It's important. Okay. Enough about fields. Enough about the wizard. one of my favorite people, that wizard. Let's talk a little bit about yards, okay? Completely different subject, but let's say you got permission for a yard. All right, you're new to detecting, you got your first permission for a yard. Super exciting, right? First of all, make sure you know how to dig a plug, because that'll get you kicked out of your yard really quick. You wanna be digging neat plugs. Sometimes I bring around a dish towel. When you're digging the plug, you cut a plug in the grass, right? You take the plug out, and you're putting your dirt on the dish towel so that you're not leaving dirt all over the yard. Take your object out, dump the dirt back in, and then just make it look like you were never even there. That's a good secret. It's not really a secret, you should know that one. Anyway, so you got your yard permission. Some of the most important places to hit in the yard are right along the sidewalk to the front of the house. Oh, the sidewalk. If it's an old house, back in the day, okay, so one of my very first permissions, it was this early 1800s house. And back in the day, before they actually had stamps for letters, they would put coins in the mailbox. That's how they would mail letters. They would put coins. So the postman would come along and he'd pull the letters out. The coins would fall on the ground around the mailbox. You want to head around the mailbox. That's important. That's so important. We pull a ton of coins around that mailbox. You want to hit around where the mailbox would have been. You want to hit around the sidewalks where people were walking and there was a lot of foot traffic. You want to hit right along the clothesline. Any digger will tell you, right around the clothesline, because you know what? When Grandma was hanging up Grandpa's pants and she forgot to clean out the pockets, the coins were just raining out on the ground. So you want to check there. Also old trees. Oh my gosh, every digger knows those old trees. I mean, back then when you wanted some shade and you wanted to just kick back and relax, those old trees, yeah, that's where you did it. So I hope this information was helpful for you guys. I really enjoy doing these videos and I hope you guys enjoy them. I know there's a lot of people who just got detectors for Christmas, and I thought, you know what, I hope that these videos would be helpful for you guys. That's kind of what inspired me to do them, because we had so many people joining our Facebook group, Metal Detecting with Relic Recoverist, that were like, oh, I just got my detector, and I was like, you know what, this is a great time to start doing these videos and helping people who are new to the hobby. So I hope this is helpful for you guys, and I hope you guys are having a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And I'll catch you next time. If you enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments, and maybe next week I'll think of something else to talk about for 10 minutes. All right, I'll catch you next time. Later. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and whether you're looking for your first metal detector or you'd like to upgrade your current machine, we carry the full line of Garrett metal detectors, and I put a link to our website down in the description.
Mule shoe, you're so sweet. I'm gonna take you